Hey, Canada. I think this is going to be the very first time I've actually covered an article from Breitbart News. But the reason why is because the headline caught me. It piqued my interest. Listen to this one. Pope Francis warns against invasion, in quotations, of libertarianism. Ooh, that's scary shit, man. Damn them libertarians trying to take over the world so they can leave you the fuck alone, right? Damn them fuckers. Gonna make you be held responsible and personally accountable for all your decisions. Damn them libertarians. They're not gonna give you freebies by stealing from that fucking person to give to you. Damn them libertarians. They're not gonna control every aspect of your life, of what you take in your body, what you consume, how you spend your wealth, right? Damn them libertarians for leaving you alone and leaving you to your own device. Canadians love the nanny state, didn't you know? Whatever, anyways, Jesus Christ. But, anyways, the religious zealots, which are, all the religions are all about sacrificing the individual for the greater good. So they're like, hey, we better get in line with the state now because libertarians are going to make not just the state look stupid, the religion of the state, they're going to make even our religion look stupid. We're all going to lose out on that aspect, right? Dumbasses, man. Collectivists. Parasites. And I mean, like I say, these people are, like I say, in the real world, they'd be they'd be the least competitive among us, right? They might very well end up being bums on the side of the street, but if they use the power of mysticism, oh, look at how much it gains them so much power and authority. So they don't want anyone to try to take that away. That's the underlying fundamental. That's the underlying aspect of why anyone such as the Pope or this particular Pope Francis would have any problem with libertarianism, because in reality, look at what libertarians are all about, and it's like, well, I guess the Pope hates Jesus. All right. Because if Jesus were alive today, if Jesus, the very Jesus that's described in the Bible and talked about in all those stories and all those verses, right? Jesus, if you just go by the very pretense, right? And the morality and all the stuff about that Jesus stood up for. Jesus, if Jesus were alive today, he'd be a libertarian. So the Pope's like, not a big fan of libertarians, not a big fan of Jesus, apparently, right? Pope Francis had harsh words to describe libertarians Friday, saying they deny the value of the common good in favor of radical selfishness where only the individual matters. Well, of course the individual matters. And it's not that libertarians say that other people don't, but listen, just think of it in every pretense, right? So helping the poor, helping someone that's fallen off a cliff, helping someone that's going to commit suicide. If you aren't functionally astute or took care of yourself well enough to be able to help others, what good are you? You're no good if you're just a sacrificial lamb, except for what, one meal for somebody, right? No, libertarians are very smart in how they do things. Libertarians is, yes, I can help a whole lot of people, but I have to help myself first. If I don't come first and foremost, then how am I going to help anyone else? I won't even have the self-esteem, the charisma, or the character to help anyone else. So Pope, but like I say, these are people that chose to forgo their individuality, their humanity, to be sacrificial lambs for the pretense of a greater good and be enriched greatly for it, right? So look at how rich Pope Francis is. Look at someone like myself. Who has more moral superiority and all kinds of history to back me up? Oh, I just gave you the truth. I just gave you the answer. Sorry, me. So really, Pope Francis should be down kissing my motherfucking feet. Because Pope Francis is someone that's living off the coattails of everyone else that came before him, the pretense of some fucking mystical deity, and forced wealth redistribution. Well, although at least the church is not a true forced wealth redistribution in the same model as the state. It's all about guilt. So, give us charity, more or less. But still, even I don't choose to use that kind of mentality or that power of persuasion to get people to give me money. I just, hey, I'll offer you something that's valuable as long as you offer me something of equal value in return. I'm not asking you to sacrifice for me, and I sure as fuck ain't going to sacrifice for you. But in the end, we walk away from a perfectly voluntary transaction, and you're happy and I'm happy. That's a win-win for everybody. Whereas with this concept of fucking what the Pope would suggest is no, only a small portion of us should benefit. The rest of you should be just loyal servants and serves to the greater good. If Jesus were here today, he'd be channeling himself through me, telling you the exact same thing. I cannot fail to speak of the grave risk associated with the invasion of the positions of libertarian individualism at high strata of culture and in school and university education, the Pope said in a message sent to members of the Pontifical Academy of Social Science meeting in the Vatican and subsequently shared with Breitbart News. A common characteristic of this fallacious paradigm is that it minimizes the common good. That is, the idea of living well or the good life in the communitarian framework, Francis said, while at the same time exalting a selfish ideal. No, and really what he's saying is, you should sacrifice yourself for the greater good and don't worry about yourself. Listen, it's all about doing the right thing in the here and now, and don't worry, your rewards will come. Don't worry, they will come right now. They won't come now. They won't come in the here and now, but it'll be after you're dead. Don't worry, all the giving, all the sacrifice you made, it'll be made up for in the afterlife. If that ain't a great snake oil salesman tactic, I don't know what the fuck is. So yeah, I don't fall for that shit. No, I ain't gonna fall for this shit, because do we have any proof that there's an afterlife? Of course not. So if you sacrifice your entire life for everyone else, well, you were, like I say, you might as well just cut it yourself and put yourself up on the table and say, hey, dine away, folks. Nah, don't believe in that bullshit. Now, yes, help people that truly need help, right? Those that you deem worthy of your help. Use your own personal morality and ethics to deem who are actually ones that are worthy of your assistance. But don't sacrifice yourself for the greater good when we all know that the greater good encompasses what? Everyone. So if you're in, we know there's bad people. What is the Pope suggesting you should sacrifice yourself for a pedophile? Right? Is the Pope suggesting you should sacrifice yourself for a murderer? For a rapist? Right? Because they're people too, right? Nah. Listen. All this old world mentality, all this old world bullshit it's being shown for what it is, and kind of glad that Breitbart, and this is Thomas Williams, I believe, is the author of this article for Breitbart News. But at least somebody's willing to stand up and say, listen, no, you don't have to be a sacrificial lamb or sheep or human for the greater good. Or the collective, which is just an open-ended mystical concept that means absolutely nothing. It's just a way to trick you into just, like I say, giving up your own personal autonomy, responsibility, and individuality for someone else. That's a good way to turn a human being into a slave or an indentured servant. And I reject the very promise, or the very premise, or the very concept of any kind of indentured servitude, or serfdom, or slavery to any kind of a ruling class. So fuck you, Pope. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.